We're going to learn today. So before we get started here, have you been a victim of identity theft or fraud, or do you know someone? Okay. Fraud? Okay, so we do have a microphone set up, right, for people to share? Okay, very good. Do you want to share? Yes? Yeah, come on up. Tell us about it.
So this happened probably back in like 2018. It was like when I got paid, and then when I tried to go pay for something, it like declined. It was like insufficient funds. So I contacted my bank, and I saw that somebody hacked into my bank account and stole like my whole entire paycheck. Apparently they were like buying a bunch of laptops and stuff, but I was never notified of this on my end. But once I called them, and I was just like, something's wrong. They were just like, oh yeah, and I was like, well, why y'all didn't tell me? Like, these people they going on a shopping spree with my money.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Boy, if they were buying a lot of laptops, that was a nice paycheck.
It was like a laptop, and it was like there were probably like some gamers or whatever.
Right. Sure.
All that stuff. But
all right. So, and how did you discover this? You said there was insufficient funds. You're like, whoa, what's happening here, right?
Yeah, I was like, I know I got paid.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that, and we're going to use that because we're going to teach you something to do every day when you wake up. Every morning when you wake up, you get that phone out and take a look at that app and look at all the transactions, right? So we're going to learn a little bit here, but thank you for sharing. All right, thank you. Hands, applause, please. So you all know someone else that has had their identity stolen. Right here. Right here. So I have a setting on my, it's tied to my credit card. And so, bing, looked at it, and I'm like, your credit score dropped by 30 points. I'm like, what? So I took a look, and it was a DirecTV account for someone down in South Texas, right on the border. His name was Hector Flores as well, but not this Hector Flores. Okay, and it was Spanish language programming. So I called DirecTV, and I said, I've never had this type of programming. You know, I said, it's too fast for me. I can't follow it. I said, that's not me. It took 3 months to get it off my credit. That was last year. About 6 weeks ago, I was sitting at a stoplight, and my phone went off, and I looked, and it says, your credit score has dropped by 30 points. It was the same thing. It popped back up again because someone at DirecTV didn't do their job and take it off. So, and you're talking to someone that looks at his bank account every morning, middle day, and before I go to bed. Credit card I don't because they alert me, so on and so forth. So you can be vigilant, and they can still get you, okay? I have no idea how they got my information. I think they hacked DirecTV's, accounts, and that's how they got my information. But you can be super vigilant and still get hacked, stolen, theft, fraud. So, but today we're going to learn to see what we can do to minimize that. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I do know that they said that they probably hacked through my email, and my email was connected to my bank account. I don't know how that happens, but
Well, we're going to learn.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because we're going to learn. That's one of the topics we're going to discuss. So, also, so that was a DirecTV account. Also, my bank account's been hacked like yours. Okay? So, a couple of times. The first time, I didn't realize this. Okay? So there was a charge for like $1.25. But I was scrolling through and I didn't pay attention, and I was like, okay. So this is what they do. It's a test to see if you're going to catch it. So they'll charge something like $1.25, $2, And if you don't catch that, then they'll hit you. There'll be $1,000 gone from your account. So, yes, these people know what they're doing. Okay, let's move on here. Okay, so first of all, what is identity? And you can see some examples here. There's medical data. Do you ever think about that? Right? Your doctor's charts, that type of stuff. There's financial data, biographical data, and biometric data. Okay? All these form the basis of personally identifiable information, your PII, personally identifiable information. This can be a piece of data or a collection of data that is unique to you and can be used to trace who you are and other personal facts about you. Okay? Your information is everywhere. Okay? Who goes to school? Who went to school? Even high school. Your social security number is at the high school. Your social security number is at college. Okay? Does anybody work? Your social security number is at your work. Okay? It's at Chick-fil-A. It's at DoorDash. It's, at the CPA firm where you are. It's all over the place. Who's ever been to the doctor? Your information is there as well. Your medical charts, your phone number, your address, once again, your social security number. And if you've ever used a debit card anywhere, your information's everywhere. Sleep well tonight, okay? Okay, so let's talk about identity theft and identity fraud. So they're terms used to refer to types of crime in which someone wrongfully obtains and uses another person's personal data in some way. Identity fraud occurs when someone's personal information is used to access money. That's fraud, okay? So in your case, that was fraud. Identity theft is when personal information is accessed, even if it isn't used for financial gain. So those are the two differences, both bad. Okay, so I gave you a couple of examples of what's at risk. Here's kind of the rest of it. Social security number, we talked about that. Your birth date, driver's license, marriage, divorce records, credit cards, email addresses, your name, your address, your passport, insurance cards, personal checks. So I know personally when I sit down with some clients and we decide to do an investment or some life insurance, I get this, I get this, I get this, I get this, maybe some information here. And that's just me, okay? So we have to be understand what thieves are looking for. They're looking for this. Any questions here? Okay, let's talk about methods that thieves use. Common scams. There's phishing, telephone, and elder fraud scams, okay? Phishing scams. So in this terminology, it's kind of like phishing, right? That's why they call it that. So there's outright theft. See that right here? I don't know if you can see it, but they're pulling information from your purse or from, out your back pocket. Dumpster diving. What does this mean? Dumpster diving. Well, how are they going to get your stuff out of the dumpster? Bank statements, applications, voided checks. I mean, everyone should have a shredder at home. Everyone should have. You can get one on Amazon for like $20. You don't need super duper shredder. You just need something that'll shred. Okay? So, if in doubt, shred it. Okay? I mean, I deal with a lot of people's sensitive information. I mean, I shred just about everything. Okay? And at home, same thing. So remember we talked about medical? Does anyone take prescription medicine for anything? Migraines, whatever? If you do, if you know someone that does, even them throwing these things away, people go and look for that stuff Because if they're refillable, they'll go refill them. I'm telling you, you got to be vigilant about this stuff. Telephone scams. Has anyone ever gotten a phone call saying that your warranty's out? Right? You may not even have a car, okay? And that's just the beginning of that right there. So there's all kinds of telephone scams. All kinds of telephone scams. We'll get into this a little bit, but I want to get in. Well, let's go ahead and dive in right now. I was watching a show on National Geographic, and it's a lady that, she does a lot of undercover stuff. And this one was about these type of telephone scams. Now, these guys are good, and a lot of times they're not even in this country. Some of these people were, I don't remember where, but they were different parts of the world. And they were scamming people saying, okay, congratulations, you just won a Mercedes-Benz. We're going to go ahead and send you the keys. And they would send them keys to a Mercedes. They didn't work to any Mercedes, but they would send it. And they say, in order for us to send you the vehicle, you need to send us a deposit. And people were like, woo, well, here's a key. Oh, yeah, I'll send you $5,000. Think they ever got that Mercedes? No. Absolutely not. So I just read about one yesterday, and I thought this would be appropriate because some of you have asked me about Bitcoin. Okay? So, nothing wrong with Bitcoin. Nothing wrong with it. I don't use it. I don't advise on it. Nothing wrong with it. But there's a scam going around right now on a dating site. Okay? And, all right, sorry, women, but this is just a story. Okay? So it was the female saying, oh, nice to meet you, so on and so forth. And, oh, by the way, my uncle is the VP of this Bitcoin or whatever it is, right? And so I've got some inside information for you. And so what they'll do is give them that information, go to this website, put it in, and, they'll actually make money on it, right? And they're like, oh. So imagine you put in $100, you made $1,000. Imagine if you put in $5,000. And, of course, if you just made $1,000 on 100, who wouldn't want that, right? So what do you think these guys are doing? Let's go. This guy got scammed out of $330,000. And you're thinking, I would never fall for that. 330,000 American dollars. Gone. So so one of these shows I was watching like this, it was men scamming women. I love you, so on and so forth, but my visa, so I need some money. And one lady had a PhD. Another one was a lawyer. So they know how to get to you, okay? They know how to pull here, right? So you got to be careful. And then this one right here, I've seen this personally. Elder fraud. I don't know if you know this. You probably don't realize this because you're in your prime. But as you get older, things get a little confusing. Don't look at me, I'm not there yet. But I'm talking older. I'm talking older, right? So my mother-in-law, before she passed, she was about 75. She was getting letters all over the place, okay? And they looked official. She would save them for me so I could read them. And some of them I had to read 2 and 3 times. And then down at the very bottom, in fine print, it said, this is an advertisement. This is solicitation for services, so on and so forth. So if you have parents that are older, grandparents, help them out, okay? Have them save. Don't have them respond to those letters, emails. Read them for them, or have your parents do that. It's very easy for elderly people to get confused. When I meet with an elderly client, I like to have son, daughter, niece, nephew present because they get confused easily. So any questions here, or now that we've discussed this, anything else come up? The phishing emails, I think we're going to get into this a little deeper here. Okay, so any other questions here? We good? All right. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Let's go back to skimming. Does anybody know what skimming is? Anybody ever go out to eat? Hand that server your credit card, your debit card. There it goes. So you got to be very, very, very careful, okay? So I used to be in the restaurant business a long time ago. And none of my servers or bartenders ever got busted for this, but I heard of others. There's a little device about the size of your cell phone. So what they'll do is they'll go get your card. Thank you. I'll be right back. And they'll go scan it, go do the payment, take it back, and then, hey, have a great day. Thanks for the tip. And then next day, there'll be a charge for $20 or $30. You may catch it, you may not. So you got to be very, very, very careful. So remember we talked about credit cards. Are they good or bad? If you're in a place where when we travel and we're not home, we use our credit card. Okay? Because if they hack that, we'll get notified immediately. If they hack our bank account, they can freeze your bank account, and that's not good when you're hundreds of miles away from home. Does that make sense? So my brother and his wife were in Las Vegas, and their bank account got hacked for like $4,000. Froze his bank account. Luckily, he had a credit card that he could use to get home. But so that's why we use credit cards when we're traveling. But then we pay them off. Remember the previous classes? Pay them off. Okay. Okay, so once they get your identity, how do they use it? So they can make transactions, they can commit fraud, get prescriptions, they can open new accounts, commit cyber crimes, they can receive medical treatment. So they can make transactions. That's pretty easy, right? They'll go and they have your information. They'll go to Amazon, go wherever, and they'll go buy stuff. Commit fraud. With your information, your Social Security number, and a lot of you, remember we talked about, your problem is you don't have security yet? Credit yet? Some of you are starting to establish it. They'll go and get yours. They'll go buy a house with your credit. They'll go get a car with your credit. Then when you go get a loan, your debt to income ratio, remember we talked about that? You have too much debt. So what are you talking about? I don't have any debt. Well, yeah, you got a loan on this car. No, I don't. It's like, yes, you do. They can get prescriptions. They can open new accounts, cyber crimes, and then, of course, they can go get medical treatment. Any questions here? All right. Okay, this is what can happen. Lost out on a job opportunity. So they hack your account, they go spend, they go crazy, your credit drops, and a lot of companies check your credit now before they hire you. I shared with you, Modern Woodman, they check our credit before they will hire us. I couldn't qualify for a home loan. I had to rely on friends and family for assistance. Thank goodness my brother had another credit card that he could use to get home. I couldn't care for my family. I missed time from work. One of the reasons it took me so long to get that erroneous charge on my credit off is because it takes time. It takes time. Think about it. I was at my office this morning at 8 o'clock. I'm here, and I love it. But by the time I get home, I'm not going to want to crack open my personal computer and take a look at my email. So that may sit there for a couple of days. And it's work. Because you got to get on hold, and then you got to talk to this person, they got to send you that person, you need this documentation. So it can take a lot of time. In some cases, you might have to borrow money to help with the expenses. What if my brother didn't have that credit card? And they had money in savings too, but what if they didn't? He'd have been calling me, right? Luckily, I love that brother, so, okay. I love both my brothers. All right, any questions here? Okay, so question about emails. How can they get my information? Well, here you go. So let me tell you something. God gave you a gift, right? The gut, okay? Intuition, right? Anytime you're walking down the street and you feel something, you got to pay attention to that. God gave you that. Same thing with these. You get an email and you're like, that's kind of weird. Seems kind of odd. Let me go ahead and click this. No. Pay attention to what God's trying to tell you, okay? So like for this example right here, from National Bank. And one of the things is often, not always, but these scams originate from foreign countries, okay? So, misspelling, right? This is, I don't know how to pronounce this without the I, but National Bank, right? So that would be clue number one, right? It's like, how do they not know how to spell national, okay? And it's very generic. Has anyone gotten one of these? Okay? And you're like, okay, I want some honesty. I want some transparency. Did you have to think about it for a second before you deleted it? Were you like, Or did you immediately go, no, that's, I mean, some of these are good, and you have to be like, wait a minute. Thank you for being honest. So I had someone once that they were a long-lost relative. They wanted to send me a lot of money. But I was like, I don't have any rich relatives. So it'll be very, very generic. Dear customer, you're receiving this email because your account has been compromised. We wish to help you stop this. And that's bad grammar, right? Period doesn't go here. Okay, please sign in using the link below, or else your account and all its money will be terminated within 36 hours. Does that happen? Will your bank terminate your account? No. So, and like I said here, unprofessional language. And then confirm your identity here. Fake login page missing, once again, the I in national. Like that's bad stuff written all over that, okay? So here, your bank will never send you an email, okay, to have you click on a link, okay? They will never do that. I don't care what bank you have. It's not going to happen. And they will tell you that, okay? And nowadays, they try to get you on this. Oh, your account's been compromised. Click on this link, right, to get it fixed. No. So what happens if you get one of these emails and they look real and you're like, man, I don't know. How do you verify that it's real or not? Dad, call the bank. Call the bank. So you will call the bank and say, hey, National Bank, I just got this email. Did I'm looking at my account. I don't see anything wrong. And you're like, no, you're good. Okay, I thought so. I just wanted to check. It's nothing wrong with double checking, but I'm telling you right now, your bank will never send you something. Your credit card company will never send you something. They might call you, and then you can verify that it is them calling you. Okay, any questions here? Anyone want to share one that they've received? Don't share if you clicked on it. We don't want to share that much. All right, come on up. Step up to the microphone. Woo!
I've had a couple, I'm not going to lie. Okay, I'll share two. So the first one, they tried to get me to load Apple gift cards with money to pay for something. I'm like, why do I have to load Apple gift cards? What's this? Are we throwing a party? What's going on? Whose birthday is it? Because it's not mine. The second one, so this one just happened like 2 days ago, actually. So it was on Google. I think I was on. I'm sorry. I was on a website and I was researching stuff, and this notification popped up, and it's like, your phone is about to be compromised or something like that. It almost looked like it was from Apple, and then it told me to enter in my my information, my password or something like that. I was like, if that was my phone, I would know it's my phone, because like my whole phone would like kind of, I don't know. But it was like on the website, and then I was like, wait, hold on, that is not Apple. And it looked so real though, and it was counting down too. It was like 10, 9, 8. I was like, dang. Okay.
That, I've not heard that, so you're like.
I'm like, okay, is this real? Is this not? Like, and then I had to like exit out. So yeah, they could have got me with that one, but not today.
I mean, there's so, thank you for sharing. Did someone else, Aisha, did someone have one? All right, Joseph, come on down. All right, survey says.
So I had two that like really, really almost got me. The first one was I got a text message, and it said it was from Amazon, and it said like, oh, congratulations, like you got a free like $100 gift card. I said, oh, look at that. And like I was saying it like out loud with my friend right there. He said, dude, don't click on that. Like they're trying to scam you. I said, what are you talking about? But like I looked at, then after I like took a second look at the link, it said like Bitly, and I was like, oh yeah, that is a scam. But like it said Amazon $100 gift card. I was like, oh, I've been faithful. This is just favor, but it wasn't. So,
it's manna from heaven. It's
yes, literally. And then the second one really almost got me bad because I didn't even really know about Social Security until I needed a Social Security card. So then this one, like right after like I got my Social Security card like for the first time. So I'm going to college. So I'm like 18, and then I get a phone call, and like they're talking about like so the premise that they came with me at was that somebody already was stealing my identity. I was like, oh, what, for real? So then like they like like sent me a link and everything, and like it was like it looked all official, like they didn't have any grammar errors, and plus I wasn't looking for them anyways. But they needed me to like verify my Social Security number. I said, hold on a second. Well, like it didn't feel right. Like they were asking me what was my Social Security over the phone. I was like, shouldn't you know what it is? Yeah. You're calling me to tell me. How do you know that you're not calling the wrong? Like it just didn't sit right. And then whenever I said, no, how about you tell me any digit? Like I just asked like for anything, and they hung up on me. But I was on the website about to like type it in and give them my Social Security because like they told me that somebody already stole it. So I was like, I'm trying to fix that.
So think about the first one. So they know how to get us the reward center in our brain. Congratulations, you just won. And the second one, they try to get you with fear. Yes. Reward and fear. God, thank you for sharing. Thank you very much. They are so good at those two, reward and fear. Reward and fear, right? So, gosh, they're so good at that. While we're talking about that, something popped in my head, and then it went away again. So anyone else have an example? Yes, ma'am. Come on down.
Hi. So mine's kind of the same as Joseph, but they called me and they said like someone had like stolen my Social Security number. Then she's like, tell me. So I was like, okay. And then she went on and kind of like tried to get my number, and then something didn't feel right, and I was like, can I speak to your supervisor? And she's like, oh, like he's unavailable right now, something like that. And then we were going back and forth. So her supervisor got on the phone, and I was like, why do you require this? Can you tell me more about the situation at hand? And he couldn't tell me. So actually, while he put me on hold, I called the actual Social Security number, and then they're like, no, like it's a scam, like don't give them anything. So I just hung up.
Good for you, right? Good for you. Thank you. Yes. So, we see everyone wants to share here. Everyone's getting scammed. So, all right, come on.
What's up? So, I think a lot of y'all know that I work for AT&T now. But one thing, one thing that I learned in my last role is, so I was on the identity management team, and one thing that they said was AT&T, or I don't know if this works for other carriers, but sometimes we do use text messages to send stuff out to our customers, right? Yeah. But they said if we ever send a text message, it'll only be like a 4 or 5 digit number. Like it won't be like a full 10-digit number or something like that. So also keep that in mind and be mindful of that if you agree with that.
No, I do, because I get text messages from Verizon, and you're right. It's like 4 digits, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if you see something where it's like a full 10-digit, and they look almost exactly the same, so be mindful of that. But it's always like here's a little gift for you or something like that. So yeah.
No, thank you for sharing, because I do get those, but then I'll go back to the app and verify. That is something they need. So that's one of the things I was going to share with you. I too have gotten calls like, hey, this is the IRS, you owe this much, but if you pay right now, it's going to be reduced. First of all, I was like, I know what I owe, I don't owe anything. Sometimes I like to play with them. I said, okay, would you like that in cash? And where would you like me to meet you? And then they hang up because then they know I'm on to them. So anyways, all right. Yeah. Okay, so here's, phone scams. Let's see if we're on to it. It says, hello, Mrs. James. You're the lucky winner of the $1 million lottery. Congratulations. All we need from you is to verify your identity and social security number and provide us with details of your bank account. Come on, really? And where we can wire you the money. I'm not supposed to tell you this, but if you act now, we should be able to waive all the taxes on the amount. I have all the paperwork with me right here. Let's start with your social security number. Reward, 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 right? Look at this. And so you guys obviously aren't going to fall for this because you're halfway through this class, right? But this is what I'm telling you. This is where they really target older people. Man. Yep, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, look, they know the name, right? They're the lucky winner, $1 million. Who couldn't use $1 million? I'll take it, right? All we need from you is verify your identity, social security, bank account. I mean, it's all right there, right? So we talked about it. You read this right now, you're like, I would never fall for that, okay? But we've been real, we've been honest, and some of us have been like, sounds good. Okay, so power of attorney. Does anyone know what power of attorney means? You give someone like your legal right to manage your finances, to have access to your bank accounts, to have access to your credit cards, so on and so forth. That's what power of attorney. So at 87, Mr. Ali lives alone in his house. His wife passed away 10 years ago, and his children live in a different state. Recently, he met a young man called Samir who said he was Mr. Ali's long-lost nephew. I'm your long-lost nephew. Samir quickly moved in to Mr. Ali's house and helped with his daily chores. Mr. Ali was so grateful that he agreed to give Samir power of attorney so that he could manage the household finances. Unfortunately for Mr. Ali, Samir spent all his money and put him in debt. That's a true story. That is a true story. So, absolutely true story. You're like, that can't happen. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it can. It can and it does. Let me, you guys, mull that around a little bit, and let me check my notes on that page to make sure I'm not missing anything there. But is that mind-blowing or what? Yeah, we kind of covered that. So we just got to be vigilant. And like I said, what we learn here, let me do a little sidebar for a second. So what you've been learning here, I hope you've been sharing, okay? Because it does no good to keep this to ourselves, right? So much like everything else that you learn here, right, in this sanctuary, it's not for us to keep as Christians. We're supposed to go out, spread the message, right? So same thing, even these little tidbits. Like Joseph, your friend that said, that it should be a shirt. Dude, don't click on that, So you need to share these things, and I just cannot enough emphasize that with your grandparents, if your parents are older, you got to share these stories with them, okay? So keep that in mind. Take care of them, right? They took care of you. Take care of them. Okay. Special cases of identity theft. Child identity theft. Children's personal information may be used by thieves to open accounts, apply for and use credit cards, apply for social service benefits, and so on. It happens. Yes. Yes. Because as soon as you're born, you have a social security card. And that is clean credit. Well, it's no credit, really, but they know how to manipulate those things and work those things. Medical identity theft. A thief can use your medical identity to access health care, get prescription medication, or claim insurance benefits. Let's talk about this. unfortunately, I had a family member that got addicted to, codeine and cough syrup and all that, and she did all kinds of things to get, because, the doctors after a while wouldn't feel anything for her, right? They're like, no, you can leave now. So what they do, and she shared this when she got clean, is that all the different ways that they try to scam doctors and pharmacies and to get them more medicine. And it's just stealing people's information, flat out. Flat out. An addict will do anything to get their pills and stuff. Tax identity theft, once thieves have access to your Social Security number and name, they may file a tax return in your name. So this happened to my sister-in-law and her husband. Okay? So someone using their information filed a tax return and got their refund. So when they went to go file the taxes, like, you've already filed your taxes. No, we didn't. Yes, you did, and you got that was like a $3,000 return. They're like, and they were like, man, Josie, you want to share? You got something? Come on down. Yeah, if you guys got something to share or questions.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Could somebody commit tax fraud? So when they're filing your return, could they put more than you made and get a fatter return that goes to their account? So not only did you get your identity stolen, but also they committed tax fraud under your name.
Yep.
And you have the IRS knocking on your door.
And they're going to ring your door, right? Not the person that stole it, right? Yes, it's happened. And you got to go prove that it wasn't you. Kind of like me proving that wasn't my DirecTV Spanish account. Yes. Yes. That's what I'm saying, I hope. What's that? It happens. It happens. So, are we putting the fear of identity theft in you? Yes, right? But we're going to talk about some things that you can do. But we're just trying to bring your awareness right now. So, Extra, do you have something? Come on down. Come on down.
The tax identity thing.
Yes.
How do you prove that it wasn't me who did that?
So let me see if I can recall what my brother-in-law and sister-in-law did. I think they had to contact the IRS. Okay, they had to get the IRS involved, and they got it rectified. Good news is, I don't know all the ins and outs, but they got it rectified, and they got it straightened out, and they ended up getting their tax refund. But it took a while. We're talking 6-9 months. Yeah, and I don't know. I guess the real question is, how did they get their information? We've talked about they can get it any number of places, okay, any number of places. So we're going to talk about protection here in just a little bit. So here's some red flags. Here may be some clues that your identity has been stolen. Unusual charges on credit card or financial account. Unusual changes in credit report and credit scores. I shared my story. Unusual denial of credit card application or services, unusual calls from debtors or collection agencies for debts that you do not owe, unusual bills for services or products you have not used, denials of services, like, nope, sorry, we can't turn on your electricity or let you rent from us, unusual increases in insurance or interest rates, incorrect medical history information, lost bills or mail, IRS reports indicating that more than one person has filed a tax return using your Social Security. That's what happened to my sister. It's like, hey, wait a minute, you've already done this. IRS reports indicating wages received from unknown sources. So these are red flags of identity theft. So you have to be in the habit, beginning with your bank account every day. Because for you guys primarily at your age, that's what's going to happen. Other ways, you got to protect your Social Security card. Who has their Social Security card on them right now? Okay. Yeah, everyone's like, oh, wait, no. You should not carry your Social Security card with you. Okay? If you do, that's okay. You didn't have to call yourself out, but that's okay. We forgive you. You're forgiven. Okay. But take it home and put it in a lockbox. Put it in a safe. Don't carry it with you. Do not. Anyways, you should have a security card up here anyways. Okay? Typically, you don't have to show that pretty much anywhere. Maybe if you get hired, then you have to bring it, but then you can take it back home, so on and so forth. Driver's license. Protect the driver's license. Okay? Got to protect that driver's license. Okay. Here we go. Protecting. We're getting into protection here. Yes, ma'am. Come on down.
But no, so you talked about the driver's license number. I know that it is a big deal, but why do you say like you should?
Well, so using one of the ways that, so when I put someone in an investment, I don't necessarily need their social security card. I need their driver's license number, because we use the driver's license number to confirm that they are a citizen or that they have a visa, so on and so forth. And it's also it has to do with Patriot Act stuff. But in order for me to invest money for someone, I have to physically see their driver's license. And we use that number as identity for that application. So in that case, we don't use Social Security of course we use, name and address and that type of thing. But driver's license, when you go fill out applications for some forms of credit, they ask for a driver's license number. So that's why you have to be vigilant and protect that, right? Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. Some people take pictures of their driver's license and keep it on their phone in case they leave it at home. Does anyone do that? If you do, sometimes, so you got to be careful with that, because, this thing gets lost, your driver's license is on there, okay? And you're like, well, it's locked. Those Russians, they know how to get in your phone, okay? So, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call them out specifically, but all those people know how to get in your phone. All right. So, here's how you can protect yourself. Monitor your accounts, all your accounts, monitor them. Credit card, bank account, so on and so forth. Even like I said, if you have Netflix, if you have DirecTV, if you have, Dish, was there extra charges? Like, what was the extra charge for? What is that? Wait a minute. I didn't ask for that. Public Wi-Fi to access sensitive information. Does anyone ever go to Starbucks or wherever and get on the Wi-Fi? So there's people just sitting in there, and they don't even have to be in there, just waiting for that information to be going across the Wi-Fi, waiting to snag that information. So working on your book reports, whatever it is, that's fine. Surfing, that's fine. Sensitive information, don't do it. Yes, sir.
We'd have to be using that information or putting it in for them to be able to access it on a public Wi-Fi.
Yep. So let's say, for example, you want to check your bank account, okay? So you get on your laptop and you have to enter in your password. And if you're on public Wi-Fi, they can capture it when you're entering in the keystrokes, okay? So what they recommend is you use a virtual private network, VPN. You're like, well, I'm in college. I don't have a VPN. Well, just don't access it when you're in a public place. Wait till you're at home. Use your personal hotspot. So for me, I was at a coffee shop before I came up here, and I cannot use their Wi-Fi. I have to use my Modern Woodman hotspot so that because I was accessing some critical and sensitive information. So you should treat yours the same way.
Does that include school libraries?
Yeah. Yep.
So,
but remember, we're talking about bank account information, checking your credit card, logging into your doctor's portal, stuff like that. Just do that stuff at home, okay? And if you're like, well, I don't have internet at home, that's what I do. You got to be careful.
And last question, what if the person has their password saved? I personally don't do that because I'm paranoid, because especially if I lose my laptop.
Yeah.
But for people that do have their password saved and they just do Touch ID or whatever it is, that's still at risk on a public Wi-Fi.
So Touch ID, so that was the biometric,
yes.
Right? So those of you that have the Touch ID, well, even
Face
this,
ID, yeah.
Yes, even this right here, right? So, but I'm sorry, your question, tell me again.
I'm just asking, are those things not only at risk on public Wi-Fi,
Yes.
but really just in general, if we have passwords saved,
Yes, save passwords. You should not save your passwords.
I knew it.
You should not save your passwords.
I knew it. I knew that.
So, it asks you to save the password. Thank you, Joseph. You should not save your password. Okay? So, and it asks you, would you like to save your password? And it's easy to go, yes.
Could you tell those that need that why?
The why? Because
Yeah.
it's so easy to access it. Okay? So, say, and I see this, has anyone ever been in a coffee shop and people walk away and just leave their laptop there? I see it all the time. I'm like, what's wrong? You guys are just asking for it, okay? So, or there will be like, maybe, we just met and we build a good rapport. Hey, I got to run the restroom. Will you watch my laptop? Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead, I see it all the time. And if you saved your password, all they have to do is they were looking, they Chase Bank. They get up, Chase Bank, they save their password, think, there you go. They got their information. It don't take that long to get your account information.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Have I done that before? Yes, I have. Okay, so let's all commit to not saving passwords, all right? Can I get an amen on that? All right. Yes, sir.
I have one more question.
Yes, sir.
Is there a difference between, or is there a difference in security between saving your password in terms of saving it on the browser, like having the website remember your password, versus saving your password on your actual browser, saving in your iPhone keychain or stuff like that?
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. So iPhone has that, right? That's preferable to save it in the keychain, okay, if everyone's following what the keychain is, right? But to save it in your browser, no. No. Don't save it in the browser. The keychain, if you're going to do it, that would be best, right? Because it kind of encrypts it. So, yeah, does everyone understand what we're talking about? So, yeah, iPhone has where and it has a whole, safe of passwords, and then it asks for it individually. That's fine. That's not automatic, because I think you still have to push in your code, right? So that's fine. Okay. Do not click unknown links or unexpected or suspicious attachments. Secure important documents in a safe place. Okay, let's go back to the third one. Clicking on links. So, you guys are not going to sleep tonight. Okay, so there are programs out there that you don't even need to click on stuff. Yeah. So if anyone that nerds out about this stuff, but they're called Pegasus programs. It's like Pegasus 1, Pegasus 2. You don't even need to click on stuff and they can get your information. So let's do what we can. They don't need to lose sleep over it, but let's do what we can. So the easy stuff, clicking on stuff that you don't know, don't do that. I'm having a hard time seeing because the lights. Do you have a question? Yes, come on down. Come on down.
So it's about the password thing. So
Yes.
on computers, I know some organizations use this. LastPass, is that good? It's called LastPass. It protects your password. I use that
Yeah, I'm not familiar
on my
with
personal
that.
and my work.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that, but if it's a type of encryption, then you're probably okay.
Okay.
We're talking about the generic. Would you like to save your password?
Just in the browser.
Yes, just in the
Okay.
browser. Yeah.
Okay,
We don't want to do that. That sounds like that's a little more secure. All right. Do you have a yes? All right. Come on down. All right, you got to come to the microphone. Got to come to the microphone.
Okay, so you were talking about Pegasus. So I watch anime on illegal websites and stuff, and so I didn't no for real. This happened to me for it was a year.
Yeah.
Where it got to my browser to where it would on my MacBook. I didn't know that you could hack a MacBook. That's why I got a MacBook. I was like, hey. So it started downloading malware. Are y'all aware of that?
Oh yeah. Yep.
It'll download malware and it'll hide itself within your system, and then it started popping up on my screen Apple, whatever your thing is about to mess up, and it said you gotta log in and then call this number. And I actually went through with it 100% until one of my friends was like, nah, that's fake. So how I don't know.
Well, I'm going to go back to something you said. You were watching this how?
Oh, hey,
Hey, this is what church is for, right? So we're right. So we're confessing, yes. So
I was trying to finish Naruto for free.
Yeah. So if you're accessing something by that means, you're probably opening the door to other stuff as well. So that would be probably step number 1 to avoiding something like that. But once again, going to websites that you aren't familiar with, accessing them ways that you shouldn't, so on and so forth. That's just an open invitation for them to kind of put that stuff in there. So, but thank you for sharing. Right, that way we can all learn. Thank you very much. Okay, let's move along here. Let's talk about. So there is still old-fashioned paper documents, like your Social Security card, like statements if you get those, so on and so forth. Make sure you lock those things away. So you guys should have at least. You don't need a big old safe, but you should at least have a lockbox, right? Or some place you can put these things in a secure place. No, not your backpack, okay? Unless your backpack's in a safe at home, okay? Cover that keypad when using the ATM. Do you do this at the grocery store all the time? Okay, so yeah. So I think tap is more secure. Yeah, right? Tap's more secure. Yes. Yep. Got to come to the mic.
Okay. Why y'all put that like that? Dang, you bring all your height, Joseph. It's okay. So when people cover their password, I actually get mad because we don't have their card, so why are they covering their PIN code?
Well, so remember I was telling you earlier about skimming these little devices? Okay, good question. So gas stations, they've been real susceptible to this lately. So where you stick your card in there, that actually is not the device. It's like there's an attachment. It looks like the apparatus, but there's actually a skimmer. So you put your card in there, and then all they need is seeing you put your PIN in. So they have the information, but to access it, they need your PIN. They might have a camera hiding somewhere, and all they need is to see you go boop, 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 boop. They go, okay, thank you very much. That's why you should always hide when you're putting it in, cover it up. Yes. Come on down. Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Sorry. So like there's a gas station in Denton, like every time I put my card in, well, afterward. But when I used to put my card in, I would put like $20 for gas. But then when I take it out, I have like a charge of like $100 or something. Be like, oh, your card was just trying to be.
Okay, so that could be different. So not all gas stations do this, but some, like they do a pre-charge until they get the final sale, but then that pre-charge will fall off. So that may not necessarily. But before I put my card in there, I'll go up and I'll jiggle that thing to make sure that they haven't attached a device to it. I do it every time. It's just a habit. And then it's never happened where the thing falls off. So, yes, sir. Come on down.
It's fine. Okay, so I've seen this where I think it was mentioned about the ATM. Whenever we insert our cards into the ATM and we're putting our information, I've seen this where somebody actually got scammed. Like when you're putting the PIN, because there's usually like a camera that's like watching. So what did we do to prevent that?
Same thing, cover it up. And here's the other thing I do, because I don't know, maybe my brain just goes all kinds of ways. So when I enter my PIN, and then after that, I'll run my fingers all over all the keys. Because, okay, stay with me for a second, all right? They're going to let you into my brain for my brain. because I think I've seen too many spy movies where, like, because where you touched, they might be able to come back and, like, go, okay, we see where he touched. I don't know if that's real or not. That's just in my brain. But I put it in, and then I run my fingers over all of them. I don't know. So, anyways. Yes. So, use credit and identity. So, if you haven't, like, signed up for, like, a Credit Karma or one of those, they're actually really good, okay? They're actually really good, and they will tell you if something's on there that shouldn't be, okay? So, I would recommend signing up for one of those services. That's just one that comes to mind right now. And then set up fraud alerts. So you can, on your bank account, like for any charge over X amount, it can send you a text message, So, there was $20 just charged at whatever, Chick-fil-A or whatever, right? And you'll be like, I'm not a Chick-fil-A. So you can do that. You can set that up. Okay, steps to take after identity theft. Say we've done all that. We cover our keypad. We don't save passwords, and we locked up our Social Security cards and all that, but it still happens. Collect information and review your accounts. Report to the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. There's a website. Fraud departments and law enforcement, and then you got to go repair the damage. Okay? So you got to get all your information. You got to report it, and in some cases, file a police report. So that's what DirecTV asked me. They're like, did you file a police report? And I'm like, not the first time because you fixed it. So I may have to go file a police report so they can get this, because it's $1,000 that they want from me that I did not use. I'm not giving it to them. So I may have to go ahead and file a police report, and then the repairing the damages, making sure they take it off my credit, and then the collection, like getting the information to them, make sure they take that off my credit. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you may have answered this already, but I learned by repetition.
Sure.
So let's say I want to go to Starbucks and I want to study some courses. Should I not do that? Like, because, we've been inside the house this whole time. We've been inside the house, and so, because of COVID, we want a change of scenery. But, it's sounding
Studying
like I
courses,
can't go.
accessing a course, it's not. We're talking about critical information. Like, if you're going to have to enter in your social, your driver's license, if you're accessing a bank account, if you're accessing medical charts, like me, before I go to my dentist, they want me to log in, and they want me to verify that nothing's changed and so on and so forth. You don't want to do those things. Coursework, surfing, watching YouTube, those type of things, you're fine because you're not using personal information, right? But if it's that PII, personally identifiable information, you don't want to go there in public settings.
So even though my passwords may be saved on the browser, is that still okay? For
your coursework, people probably don't want to steal your coursework. But so that's what I would say. Would someone benefit from this? And then I would then don't do it. Okay? But if someone's like, I'm not hacking to get her coursework, so does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Awesome. Love the questions. Okay, so there are laws to protect you. Identity Theft and Assumption Deterrence Act of 1998. There's the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. We're not going to get into all these specifically, but know that there's consumer protection laws, okay, that are out there to protect you in case your identity is stolen, okay? So just understand that. You can Google consumer protection laws. Okay, summary. Identity theft takes various forms and targets many types of people. Be aware of how you share your information. Continuously monitor your finances. Protect your data using safe habits such as regularly changing passwords. So I want to hear from you guys. What's the one thing that's really resonating with you from our conversation today? You guys can just shout it out. Right? How creative they are. How they get you, right? Reward and fear. how they get you, right? So, okay, all the different ways. And, you can do all these things, and it can still happen, okay? But let's make it hard for them, okay? Let's make it hard for them to steal your identity and to do fraud on your identity. So let's make it hard for them. That's what I want you to take away from this. I don't want you to lose sleep, okay? Now, if you need to go put your Social Security card away and, clear your browser and do all that, then do that so you can get some sleep. But other than that, do what you can. Do what you can, and then there is some recourse afterwards to get that fixed. Yes, ma'am. Sure.
I remember when my stuff got hacked. I know, like my bank. Well, not really my bank, but the investigators or whatever. They told me, like, for now on, if I have an email connected to like my bank account information, to not have it as my full name, to have it as like.
So that brings up a good, which I'm not one to talk here, but that's so like when your name is so mine, Hector Flores 71 at gmail.com. Well, okay, there's his first and last name, and he was born in 1971. I already gave him 2 pieces of vital information, right? So that's what they're talking about. So it should be something. I mean, that's not something we cover, but I think generally that's pretty good practice. Because we collect emails all the time, and I'm like, just from their emails, I can already tell things about them, right? So you might consider that. So that's good. Any other questions before we close this, and then I just have some general comments? Yes, come on down.
Hey, y'all. So I see that it says regularly changing passwords. When it comes to like bank accounts and all that kind of stuff that we use every day, should we change our passwords like every few months? Because I've been having the same password for a while.
Yes, and so I would think about every 6 months you should change those passwords. Yeah, every 6 months. And look, I'm gonna make a commitment to change up my passwords because I got the same password for a lot of stuff because it's easier, right? Yes. So I'll make a commitment if you guys make a commitment. Let's change up those passwords. Let's use strong passwords, right? And let's do that. Let's do what we can. So if there's not any more questions here, I'd just like to close because today this is our last class together. Yes. So, and I want to share with you, it's been such a blessing for me. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I've enjoyed getting to know you. I enjoy the love, the energy, the kindness. So this won't be the last you see of me, okay? So if you recall, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about setting some goals, okay? We talked about setting some goals in regards to debt, building emergency savings, building our credit. So we had talked about those things. So that's what I want to talk about right now. And, I don't want us to, let's figure out the goals right now and so on and so forth. But I would like, if you're open to it, amongst, when you guys meet again as a group, and you don't have to share personal information, but as a group, let's set some benchmarks, okay? In 6 months, 6 months would be what? Help me out. Okay, about October, maybe November, around Thanksgiving, and maybe we can get together and have a meal and share how, you guys are doing. By November, let's improve our credit score by 20 points. Let's commit to everyone having the $1,000 emergency fund. That I know you can do, right? Let's commit to some other things that you've learned. I'll send Pastor Joshua an email with some thoughts about goals that you can set. I've met personally with some of you, and I love it. And those of you that I met with, I think you've learned even more than what we've shared here in the class, right? Because it's a little more personal, one-on-one. And then you can really see the road that's ahead of you, right? To being not a slave to debt and credit and those type of things, but to be in control of your finances, okay, and do what you want to do down the road. Is it work? Yes, it's work. But anything worthwhile is going to take some work, okay? So as we close today, what I want for you is to really grasp what we learn, really apply it. Let's get some goals, and let's celebrate in October, November. What do you say? All right, let's do it. So I'll send Pastor Joshua a recap and kind of what we talked about here today, and say, hey, at the next Tuesday, you guys spend 10, 15 minutes, get some general goals, and then we'll reconvene 6 months from now. I just want to see you guys, see how you're doing, and then we'll celebrate. We'll celebrate, okay? And then always, so those of you that have had meetings with me, you can share, how it went and so on and so forth. And if you found value in it, share it with everyone else. I'll be glad to sit down with each and every one of you, okay? Even if it's just to continue our connection, okay? So I just enjoy so much helping people at where you're at in life, because if you can get off on the right foot where you're at, you're going to be set, okay? You're gonna be set. Money will not be something that you have to be overly concerned about, right? You can save that for marriage, kids, all that other stuff, traffic, and all that other stuff, right? So, but money will not be one of those. Amen? Amen. So I'll just finish by saying, I love you. Thank you so much for letting me be part of your family. And that's all. Thank you.